What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, and it's time to discuss the Philadelphia Eagles going forward. Now, I've already did my actual take about how I feel about Nick Foles taking over for the team, and as well as kind of worked through my depression of Carson Wentz no longer being the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles until next season. They're saying 9 to 12 months for the recovery, but let's be honest, knowing Wentz and knowing the fact that he did what he was able to do on a torn ACL, he'll be back week 1, almost guaranteed, through the power of Jesus Christ, his Lord and Savior. So what I'm going to do is, from our live stream that we did the other night, we had a bunch of quarterbacks get thrown in here that who the Philadelphia Eagles should go out and get to replace Carson Wentz. A lot of not believers for Nick Foles. So what we are going to do is we are starting the starting point 11-2, getting ready to take on the Giants, who I guess Madden made them a little bit more generous in their 5-8 record. Where are they right now? 2-11, the inverse of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna see what quarterback scenario gives Philadelphia the best chance of winning the Super Bowl. So we have a couple free agent QBs we're going to talk about. We're going to do one for Colin Kaepernick. We're going to do one for Nick Foles and a couple other surprises. So I'm just going to be like cutting in the different highlights and our findings. So every quarterback is going to start from week 15, and we're going to go right to the Super Bowl and do a complete recap. We have about 5 or 6 quarterbacks to roll through. So without further ado, let's get our baseline and see just what might have happened if Carson Wentz was still healthy. Your MVP, Carson Wentz. So with Carson Wentz at the helm, we beat the Giants 42-14, which we saw Mr. Carson Wentz go for 5 touchdowns. Mother of God. But he went 1-2 down the stretch, losing to the Raiders on Christmas and then falling to the Dallas Cowboys on week 17. I think in real life, maybe this Cowboys game would have been a toss-up because Philly has everything locked up and they're resting their starters. But, 1-2 is not exactly where I thought. And in the postseason, 1 and done against the #1 team as an Eagle fan, full strength, I did not want to see. And that is the New Orleans Saints, who beat us 31-21 with a bad day for Wentz. Rough start, rough welcoming to the playoffs, and Drew Brees really went off. And you could see Kamara had himself a nice game as well. So I guess through the powers of Madden, this exceptionally high quality game, the Philadelphia Eagles with Carson Wentz would be 1 and done. Next up, Colin Kaepernick. And with Colin Kaepernick at the helm, still finishing with a 12-4 record, going 1-2 in the final games, losing to the Giants, losing to the Raiders, but able to get a victory over the Dallas Cowboys in the final week, where Mr. Kaepernick had 163 yards, 1 touchdown. Looking at the postseason, 1 and done once again, as we lost to the Atlanta Falcons 42-14. I'm not liking this sim for the Eagles. 5 touchdowns again. Our QB, our team's just getting skunked by opposing teams' quarterback. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick for Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs. It's not too bad, but I think what you could say is that's not the result we want. Colin Kaepernick, Mr. the #1 guy that everybody wants to re-sign, couldn't get the job done with the Philadelphia Eagles. So next up, we're going with RG3. And with RG3 at the helm, the Philadelphia Eagles have cracked the Super Bowl. That is insane. They went 12-4. I don't know why it says 11-4 here. Looking at how the season finished out with RG3 at the helm, it looks like 1-2 is the split here. Losing to the Giants, losing to the Raiders, but defeating the Cowboys 42-0. This is where RG3 got his win. Look at that. They brought Arlovsky, for God's sakes. But 186 and a touchdown. Looking to where we got here. Look at the playoffs. Beating the Seahawks 31-17. Where your boy RG3 went for 2 touchdowns. He also had Jay Ajay help him out a lot. But 2 TDs for RG3. A clean game. And then against the Vikings in the playoff, 45-8. Where was this with any other? RG3 I was expecting to be the least effective. 247, 2 touchdowns on the day, as our running game is just going off right now. So now we have the Super Bowl against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what we're going to do. We're just, for the sake of the moment, see what happens when we sim past the Jaguars. Well, that would have been a very interesting Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles this year against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're already talking like the Eagles aren't going to make the Super Bowl. I still have belief that Beast Foles can get the job done. And that's the quarterback we're going to try after RG3. But RG3 might very well here, through the power of Madden, this exceptionally high-quality game, be the quarterback. So what do we have? What do we have? Did we win that game? The Jaguars, it doesn't tell me. We're going to have to look in here. Did RG3 just lead the Philadelphia Eagles to their Super Bowl? Oh! Oh, very close. RG3 lost in the Super Bowl 35-32 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Madden God Blake Bortles went for 340, 4 touchdowns and a pick. RG3 241, 2 TDs and a pick, as well as a rushing touchdown. So 3 TDs on the day for RG3. So I guess the first surprise, the first kink into this little quarterback experience, RG3 has been more successful than Carson Wentz and Colin Kaepernick. So we now know the RG3 experiment. Next up, we're going to go with Nick Foles. We still have 2 more after that, but now let's see, in reality perhaps, what can Nick Foles do through the power of this exceptionally high quality Madden game with the Philadelphia Eagles. How far can he take them? Alright, so looking at how Nick Foles did for the Philadelphia Eagles in the remaining 3 games, losing the Giants, beating the Raiders 42-6, and then losing to the Dallas Cowboys in the final week. So it seems like they're following a similar trend, if you will, of going 1-2. But, you know, I just putting it together. Nick Foles gets to play the Raiders, the same team that he dropped 7 touchdowns on in 2013, which is good, as you can see, following that form with a near-perfect game. So, Beast Foles, what did he do in the playoffs? Right now, my realistic goal, I want 1 win. I want 1 playoff win for Doug Peterson. And we were 1 and done as we met the New Orleans Saints 38-28. We were defeated. Nick Foles in that game. 1 pick. Chase Daniel had a better QBR. That is a slap in the face for Nick Foles as he fell. Once again, I believe he lost to the Saints. That's just history repeating itself. Winning against the Raiders, that has some nostalgia. Losing against the Saints in the playoffs also has some nostalgia. So Nick Foles did not go nearly as well as I thought it would. So we have 2 little surprises left for the quarterback experiment. Let's jump into surprise number 1. Straight out the booth, we're going with Tony Romo coming out from the CBS. How ironic would this be? This insane, what planet are we living on scenario where Tony Romo would leave the CBS booth and suit up for the Philadelphia Eagles. He sees his team as just being right there for the Super Bowl, and he is the top name that people want to bring up. Is he going to come out of retirement for the Broncos? Was he going to come out for the Houston Texans? No, but Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman, the GM god, was able to get Tony Romo to come out of retirement in Week 15 to try to lead this Philadelphia Eagles team to a Super Bowl. Will it pan out? Let's find out. Yeah, you know this would happen. So with Tony Romo at the helm, the Philadelphia Eagles are set to meet the Raiders in the Super Bowl in the big game. They go 12-3, which I don't know how that makes any sense, but looking at the finals, they went 2-1 in the home stretch, beating the Giants 35-6. And when Tony Romo off the street is able to go for 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, man, that Tony Romo looks an awful lot like Dan Orlovsky. Well, they fall to the Raiders for rematch time. They fall to the Raiders in Week 16, and in Week 17, in just the game of all games, Tony Romo leads the Philadelphia Eagles past the Dallas Cowboys, going with not hot performance. You know, they had 1 trick play with Colin Kaepernick, but Romo, you know, clearly the run game, 100 yards. Look at that, run game dominates. So now it's time in the Super Bowl to see if Tony Romo, of all people, can get the Philadelphia Eagles that first Super Bowl ring. A rematch from Week 16 against the Raiders. Can they get the job done? Romo equaling RG3's success in our quarterback simulation. What did you do, Mr. Romo? God, I hate this offline. It takes so long. I don't know why they make this take so long. It should be quicker. And just like that, oh my God, I saw the spoiler. Tony Romo, coming out of the CBS booth, leads the Philadelphia Eagles to their first Super Bowl 38-24 over the Oakland Raiders. Tony Romo, 4 TDs on the day. Rest assured, he got himself the Super Bowl MVP award for a fitting end to his career. Wasn't going to get it done with Dallas. Got it done with the Philadelphia Eagles. That is awesome. Perfect world. Eagles, go out and get yourself some Tony Romo. We got one more. We got one more, as by popular demand for our QB scenario. Even though we've already found the solution of Tony Romo, I present to you I'm dusting off my damn pads, and I'm strapping up for the Philadelphia Eagles. As you see this, 5'10", 227 out of the funniest looking school I could find. Quick dev trait. Look at this. Awareness high, throw power high, great speed, referencing to my 4.45 40 in high school. Other than that, I was a complete liability anytime we try to do any wildcat or anything like that. But I still have the heart, I have the determination, I have the city on my back. Let's see what I can do as quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles as per popular demand.